going to look a lot like Christmas. Hi, I'm Isaac Hernandez, and
I'm Holly McClure.
And this is Faith on Film, a program designed to keep you aware of everything that's happening in the world of faith and family, or Christmas entertainment. How do you like the way I changed that up today, Holly?
Yeah, Christmas entertainment and Christian entertainment. We can do both things, can't we?
Both of them. Can you believe we're just a few days away from Christmas?
No, I really can't.
Unbelievable.
Because I'm not ready. But what we are ready to do, and we're ready to do with family and friends, is to sit back and watch movies. It seems to be kind of synonymous with the Christmas season to get a good Christmas movie everybody can enjoy and play it. And boy, have we got one today that everybody can enjoy. And I'm excited to share it, because it's something that can literally stream and get, the minute they're all sitting down. And we want to introduce the people behind the scenes, right?
Of course. Now, I got to admit to you that Christmas for me starts around the third week of October. Right around then. Yes, right around then I start watching Christmas movies. So I've already watched, 30 or so. And you know what? They're pretty much all very similar. But this one is different. So I'm very excited to talk to the folks that produced this one.
This is very different. And we have with us today Isaac Alangi, who was the cinematographer on the film. And he has an IMDb list that's so long, I can't go into all of them. But he's done, in fact, he did a movie we're going to talk about in a minute with a friend of ours. He did Freddie, My Sweet Holiday, Follow Your Heart, so many more. And he's joined by his lovely wife, who is a writer and director who wrote and directed this film. And her name is Sandra, and she is amazing. She's done, Trust Fund, which she wrote and directed her first film. She's directed 13 films. She's written 8, and in fact, probably even more, because I think they have a couple of films coming out this year. So we're excited to bring on Isaac and Sandra on to about It's Christmas Again. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you guys on. This is a movie that you just filmed actually this last summer at Capernaum and in Franklin, Tennessee. But before we start talking about it, why don't we let people take a look at the trailer first for It's Christmas Again, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
I don't care what everyone is doing.
You really can't have a nativity scene with only 2 shepherds.
Look, I'm going to Max's party. But if I see a magical star on the way there, I'll follow it.
Jake, look up. There's a million magical stars.
I could use an aspirin.
Oh, what?
Those are great costumes, by the way. Where are all the decorations?
What decorations?
Joe, do you want to help me bring back Christmas?
Why not?
Do you remember the movie The Christmas Carol?
No, I've seen it.
But you don't think anything like that could really happen, do you?
So come on, let's light up this town tonight. Show the world we won't settle for what's empty this time. It's Christmas again. It's Christmas again.
That movie makes me smile. Even the trailer makes me smile. You guys, congratulations. You did something very unique. You did a Christmas musical with teenagers. I mean, really, that's different.
I think it's the most fun movie we've ever done. Just all the singing and the dancing and all the fun stuff on set. If it wasn't so cold when we filmed in January, it'd be the best movie ever. Definitely.
Well, I gotta admit to you, I am a huge fan of musicals. Some of my favorites, of course, are the Music Man, Newsies. I mean, I love musicals. So I just love this movie. There's not too many musicals that are done in the style that you just did, and I thought it was fantastic.
That's true. So true. So true. Okay, did you guys come up with this concept for years and years? Did it come up recently? I mean, you obviously collaborated on it. You're a power couple. Where did you come up with the idea to do this kind of movie?
Well, I had wanted to do a musical ever since I started writing movies, but hadn't really found the right time to do it. Takes a lot more crafting, and you have to involve a lot more people. It just kind of seemed like the right time, like things kind of came together. And I think Isaac, we finally won him over to doing a musical when we saw, when The Greatest Showman came out. He loved that. He loved In the Heights. And so I finally kind of got him on board with that idea. And I mean, Christmas, I think it's a great time. I mean, I'm up for any time to do a musical, but I think Christmas is a natural.
Absolutely a natural time. And Isaac, for you to do, I mean, as a cinematographer, this is a very different kind of movie to shoot, isn't it? When you're doing a musical number, you're working with choreography. I mean, it's really different.
Yeah, it's really funny because narrative films are one thing and music videos are one thing, but I've never been somebody that's done, I've only filmed maybe 2 or 3 music videos in my whole life. And this was definitely like shooting a whole bunch of music videos back to back. Doing a lot of takes of the same thing happening with playback and everything. And so we had to kind of learn a different workflow really than just doing a movie. And I really liked it. It was really fun. It gives you a chance to be creative, to try a lot of new things, try really interesting shots. It also moves faster than you would think.
Oh, yeah.
Because the dancing is so well rehearsed. It's not like the actor is trying to remember lines or anything. You can just, it's kind of like shooting a fight choreography scene. They've rehearsed for so long that the shooting is actually very efficient once you get on set. It's fantastic.
And you shot in, which I love seeing in the trailer, you shot at Capernaum. And so there was the village, the biblical village where you shot. And then a few months later, you shot in Franklin.
We actually filmed in Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, in January of this year. And we shot for a couple of weeks there and did all the current day stuff, as well as the alternate timeline where Jake wakes up and there is no Christmas. And then in March, we were like, oh, we'll go to Texas in March. It'll be nice and warm. And we'll go to Capernaum Studios. We'll film all the biblical timeline stuff. And we got to Capernaum. It was beautiful weather. And we got all ready to shoot. And the next day, when we started filming, the weather plummeted. And once again, it was freezing. It was the running joke that it was so cold for the entire movie.
We just told everybody to go out and buy whatever hand warmers they could find because, I mean, they were easier to find in January in Nashville, but Texas, we had people bringing them with them.
Yeah, they weren't ready. But we love Capernaum Studios. It was such a treat. We had never shot anything in a studio type environment before. And Capernaum is just set up. I mean, we love The Chosen and all the stuff they've done. So, of course, we got a lot of inspiration there. But we also tried to do our own thing and do our own take on it. And just, it's such a neat place with such a big outdoor set and the costumes and
it takes
props.
A lot of the stresses off of the filmmakers as to, you know, they have the place where you can have your lunches and stuff, and they have wardrobe and props, and not to be a commercial for Capernaum, but we did enjoy it.
We also want to know a little bit about you guys. Why did you become filmmakers, and how did you meet?
Yeah. It's all Isaac's fault, I think.
I wanted to make movies ever since I was a little kid. I think I was about 11 years old when my brother and I first started making little films on an 8mm film camera, and I'd always wanted to do it. But obviously, when I was a kid, it wasn't super accessible. You had to have some means. So I went more into photography and built a darkroom and started a photography business and did that for 20 years. And I was like, you know what? I really want to still make movies. And Sandra and I had been married for a while, and we've just been talking about it. We went to a conference, and the speaker said, storytellers are the...
they shape the culture.
Yeah, storytellers to every generation shape that culture. And we see that happening all the time now.
Well, we were working with other people making their projects, and it wasn't necessarily the story that we wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And it just became more and more, I guess, important to us.
Yeah.
The content. And, well, I remember like watching some movies early on, like with my kids when they were young, that like Kirk Cameron was in and stuff. And I knew the difference between like, oh, this is something of worth to watch with my kids rather than just something to fill time.
Right. So how is it working with each other? Because it's not like you can fire, you can't fire her, she can't fire you, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've done some movies like for Hallmark and for some other producers, and they were concerned about hiring a married couple because they're like, well, sometimes we'll fire the director or we'll fire the DP.
Right.
But in your case, we're kind of stuck because if one walks, you both will walk. And we're like, no, you don't have to worry about us. We're good.
Yeah.
And it is really great, honestly, working together.
It's honestly, I mean, I can't imagine a better situation because there's no one that I trust more than Isaac. And that goes not just to have my back, but I trust his creative vision. And so sometimes we'll see on set, we'll see something maybe a little bit different than each other. But I think we both have respect for the others, that we listen and we figure it out.
Well, she says that. She says we'll see things different. But most of the time, when we thought about a scene, even if we haven't talked about one specific detail, most of the time we'll kind of see it the same way or a very similar way in our mind, which is really interesting. And it's also great to work together because I have so many friends that are cinematographers like me or whatever on a film set, and they have to leave home. They have to leave their wife and their kids. And they have to go work on that film set anywhere from 5 weeks to 3 months or however long it takes to do that movie and not see their family. And that's devastating.
Yeah.
And so we get to go do films together. We get to share a hotel room, saves money. Look at all the perks.
We share the same interest and can make it into a living, actually.
And you guys did a lot of films for Hallmark and Lifetime, and like you said, you've done other films. In fact, weren't you working on 2 films this last year? Because we're going to see some more films from you as a couple, power couple. What's coming out this next year that we can see?
Well, during COVID, we got busy.
We got real busy.
Hallmark had shut down.
Not because anyone was calling us necessarily, but we just knew that everything was being canceled from everyone's calendar. And so we thought, what a great time to write a Christmas movie and film it and and maybe do 4 more.
Yeah. So I think we ended up doing like 6 or 8 movies in the past year and a half.
Oh my God.
Wow. 6 or 8 movies. That's pretty productive.
Yeah. They were kind of back to back. So,
During COVID.
and that doesn't really include this movie. This movie is special. We actually took a whole year to do this movie, which obviously we'd done a lot of other things, but this movie, we said we're not going to work on other projects. We're just going to focus on this one. So we actually did all the editing ourselves.
This has been our focus because it's different. It has the soundtrack. And we did like different filming in January and March. And we even went back in July and picked up a scene. And but this one was I think it's just special. We wanted to give it the time that it deserved.
Yeah.
I'm curious, out of filming the scenes, what was your hardest thing to film or do? Because working with weather, kids, music, choreography, I mean, it's not an easy shoot, I imagine.
You know what? I know that people say don't work with kids or animals. Anytime I can have an animal on set, I will say yes. I'm an animal person through and through. So when we had like goats and sheep and we had donkeys and camels, I love it.
Yeah,
I will always say yes. And these kids, I don't know if you can call them kids, they were every bit as professional or more than most actors that I work with. They came prepared. They knew their lines. They were awesome.
Yep, they were on time.
So nothing is on them. I would say as far as difficult, weather
was probably the hardest thing. Our very first day of filming, we got an email the night before that our location had been canceled due to weather. Down there in Nashville, they don't play
deal that game
real well with snow like we do up here in Kansas City.
Yeah, we're from Kansas City, and we're accustomed to like, we'll just go shovel or
throw down some ice,
bring out the salt trucks and stuff. And they don't really do that. They just hold up until the weather gets better and things start to melt. And so when we got this email that our location had been canceled, we were about 12 hours out from filming. Yeah. Our first scene, first day, well, not our first scene, but our first day of filming. Yeah. We had, I would say, about 150 people with background actors and dancers and cast. And no location.
150 people with nowhere to go the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
They were supposed to report at 7 a.m. So, I mean, we had everybody that we knew of looking for locations and
we needed a school, which is probably one of the most challenging locations to get.
On a Saturday.
That's why we had planned it months and months and months before. We had booked the location and all of that.
But we prayed about it, and God showed up, and he made the connections that needed to be done. And we didn't start at 7 a.m. the next day, but we started at 11 a.m. and we made our day. So, and it worked out beautifully. The location, the facility was perfect.
Now, you mentioned weather being one of the difficulties, but what about finding kids that not only could act, but could dance? Did that not add a little bit of extra difficulty to it?
Yeah, casting was a little more difficult. We didn't necessarily look for actors that could dance. We looked for actors that could sing.
Yeah.
Which that makes it, that definitely filters down your options. We knew we were going to hire dancers. And so if the actors could just kind of go along with the movements a little bit, but we definitely weren't trying to make it even more difficult to find someone.
Well, and you don't really have any big name stars. I mean, it's kind of new talent, right?
Yes. Which, I know that's, not done a lot, but I'm big on everybody has to start. Everybody has to have a first time. And I love being able to be the one that go like, hey, I found them.
Oh, yes. I like that. I'm glad you did.
Well, I'll tell you what, they came to set and they were so, they were enthusiastic. They brought this energy with them that I love.
Well, why is this a movie that we've encouraged families to watch over the holidays? Why is this a great movie with a great story? What's the overall, that they'll walk away with?
Well, one of the things, it's obviously it brings about Jesus's birth, which is for me is like the reason why we're doing any of this holiday, right? Which sometimes people forget. It's easy with all the other things that we have going on. But the second thing is our lead character, Jake, he starts out in the beginning of the movie, when his girlfriend she's more, she wants to give back. She sees that the church needs help and that they can help these little children. And he feels like the problems are so big that it doesn't matter what he does. And so throughout the movie, what he finds out or he learns is that, he may not be able to help everyone or solve all the problems, but he can make a difference to one person, and that's worth it. So I think that's a good message for kids of any age, really, to remember, especially this season, but all year long.
Yeah.
I love in the trailer when he's taken back and he goes, "That's Jesus," and he goes, "How'd you know his name?" I love that. I love that line. Like it was something like that. Like, "How'd you know his name?" It was funny. I thought that was funny. There were several scenes in it that was so good. Isaac, you brought up a point about our friend that. We have two Isaacs on today. This is Isaac H. and Isaac A. You brought up a thing about a movie that Isaac worked on that we both know, right?
Yeah, you Isaac, you worked on. It's so weird calling you Isaac. It feels like, am I talking to myself? You worked on a movie by a friend of mine, Johnny Remo. I believe it was Freddie.
Yeah. Back in 2017, we did Freddie, and it's a story about a kid who finds a little top secret robot, kind of little creature, and
He's a robot.
He's a robot.
He's not a creature.
And it's a really fun little movie. Kids love it. It's on, I believe it's still on Netflix. And it turned out great.
And
we both know know Johnny Remo. It's kind of fun to see that you did. In fact, I reviewed that movie and did the review with Johnny about that. So it's funny.
Good.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, the effects were pretty amazing on that movie, actually.
Yeah. So that's the same special effects guy that we use for our movies. His name's Dorian. He's very
really. And you use it for It's Christmas Again?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many things have to be removed from a movie. Like all the lighting and all the stuff, like especially when we went to Capernaum. And I mean, you have to light the scene. We're out in the middle of nowhere in one of those fields, and it's pitch dark. So you have to create something from somewhere.
Well,
that's true. That's so true.
We have about a minute
Go ahead.
left. Yeah, we have about a minute left. So can you kind of tell us maybe how people can follow you? How can they know about this movie? Where can they watch it? Just give us all the information about how people can connect.
Yeah, the movie is called It's Christmas Again, and all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, etc., are at It's Christmas Again Movie, and our website is itschristmasagainmovie.com.
Okay.
You can go on there. We're streaming the movie for $14.99 this year. You can only see it on our website, so it's not on Amazon, not on Netflix. It's only at itschristmasagainmovie.com. You can stream it, watch it in your home, watch it with your family. And better yet, if you like it, please tell people about it. We'd love to spread the word.
And I also want to mention that the radio station where I do a radio show, she said she's been hearing the song from the movie playing on their station. So what's the song that people should look out for?
Oh, wonderful.
It's probably It's Christmas Again, but the whole soundtrack can be found anywhere you listen to music. So Spotify, iTunes, Amazon.
Yes.
So it's a big number of people are hearing about and want to re-listen to. It's Christmas Again. Okay, that's another thing to tell people to look for.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, it's been fun having you on.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, I have
a good time.
I have an idea. Why don't we go to the trailer one more time so people that missed it maybe in the beginning can watch it again?
Wonderful.
Here we go.
Don't care what everyone is doing.
You really can't have a nativity scene with only 2 shepherds.
Look, I'm going to Max's party. But if I see a magical star on the way there, I'll follow it.
Jake, look up. There's a million magical stars.
I could use an aspirin.
Oh, what?
Those are great costumes, by the way.
Where are all the decorations?
What decorations?
Joe, do you want to help me bring back Christmas?
Why not?
Do you remember the movie The Christmas Carol?
I've seen it.
But you don't think anything like that could really happen, do you?
So come on, let's light up this town tonight. Show the world we won't settle for what's empty this time. It's Christmas again. 'Cause it's Christmas again.
Wow, I tell you, that looks like such a fun movie to watch. I certainly am going to recommend. And actually, you have a list of movies to recommend, and that is right now at the top of your list. What else?
We're being fun, right? We're being speaking of fun things to do and fun things to watch. Well, yeah, I love we both got hats. Sorry, this is the only Santa hat that I had, but hey, I'm loyal. And I'm Texan, so there you go.
There you go.
Okay, it's Christmas Again. We have to go ahead and mention that. We just talked about that movie. It's a great movie to watch as a family. Farmer in the Bell, Saving Santa Land. Isaac, you personally worked on that one, produced it, I think.
Yes,
so you've got
executive producer. Yeah, executive producer. I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Executive produced it, and it's a fairly recent movie too, so it's more of a modern movie. The Nativity Story, which was shot a few years ago, but I love that movie. It's an epic story, actually filmed in Italy. It was wonderful. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. How can we skip over that one? I love that movie. Veggie Tales, best Christmas gift, animated one for little ones, and they love that, and big kids who like Veggie Tales. Miracle on 34th, I love the 1947 version. The Star, animated film that where the little donkey Bo gets to have a part in Jesus's birth, so that's a good one. And The Bishop's Wife. Now, people may like The Bishop's Wife, the Cary Grant, Loretta Young one. I love that because it really brings back the meaning of Christmas and brings back how we get lost in the hustle and bustle and money and what are the true values of family. So anyway, I think that's a good one. There's so many others. Isaac, there's dozens of Christian Christmas movies. Really, there are. If you Google it, there's a lot out there. So
yeah. Now, you said Christian Christmas movies. I mean, technically, Christmas should be about Christ, but there are some secular movies that you also recommend. And what would those be in, and why would they not be Christian?
Because the other ones emphasize the real reason for the season, as we both believe and do. But favorite Christmas classics, and these aren't everyone's. It's a Wonderful Life. Most people agree. Jimmy Stewart, George Bailey. How can you forget this role ever? It's classic, iconic. Most people's number one movie. I cry every time, and I've seen it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Donna Reed also was wonderful, and it was Frank Capra's directed it. It was just a classic. I still cry. Elf, okay, right up there. Elf. Favorite Will Ferrell. I mean, come on, Buddy the Elf. I've watched it already 3 times this last week. It's It's been on and I've been watching it. I laugh every time. So
Right.
I love that
I
movie.
love that
Zoe
one.
Deschanel, side story, I was working on The Passion of the Christ with Caleb Deschanel, and he said, yeah, my daughter's making a little movie. It's called Elf. I don't know, it's a Christmas movie. When I was on his set, when we were working on it. So then when it came out, I'm like, that's what he was talking about. Interesting. Anyway, A Christmas Story. How can we not get by that? With Ralphie, Peter Billingsley wanting his Red Ryder air rifle, of course. And that's really 50s nostalgia, which is why I love it also. It's about the 50s and old-timey look and feel. I love that. Also, Home Alone, the first one. Yeah, okay, it's maybe got some little language, so you guys have to judge for yourself, your little ones, but I still laugh every time. And again, I've watched it already twice this Christmas season. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen, love that one. And he fills in as Santa. And Miracle, again, on 34th, I said that. Another one that's kind of different is The Family Man. And again, this has some language in it, but the overall story is so good. Nicolas Cage, Tia Leone, about this guy that actually, this angel takes him back, kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, a modern story. He goes back and realizes what his life could have been if he wouldn't have been wanting money and fame and all that, what his life could have been if he'd taken the other path. So then he realizes the real true value of life. It has some language in it, and it has some mild things, but overall, for teens and adults and older kids, I'm telling you, The Family Man. Watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. And a Western, many people say a Western, John Wayne, Three Godfathers. You may have forgotten about it, but Frank Capra, John Ford, who directed him in Stagecoach. John Ford directed this. And it's about these three bank robbers who come across this woman and her little baby, and she's dying in this wagon on the road. And they find her, and she says, will you please take my baby? And so they become the Three Godfathers, the Three Wise Men. So anyway, and White Christmas, of course. How can you forget that? Yeah, the movie that everyone says, is it a Christmas movie? Die Hard.
I was going to say, you didn't put it on your list, but a lot of people feel like it's not Christmas unless they watch this movie.
And it's funny how many people really argue that. Like, it's really a thing. People talk about it. Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie? And there's a movie called Love Actually. And I really did love Love Actually. I like it. But again, it's got language and implied situations. So, parents just have to be choosy for your own kids.
Well, yeah, everybody take this list and see which ones, if not all of them. Again, I've been watching a bunch of the newer ones, a bunch of Christmas movies. I just love watching these Christmas rom-coms. But Holly,
I have to ask you one more real quick. Do you watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes, of course. I not only watch it, I do my house pretty much just like he did in his house. I go nuts.
I didn't put it on the list because of some language and crude stuff, but a lot of people love that movie and a lot of people watch it. So anyway, I had to ask about that.
Folks, listen, it's Christmas time, but we still would love to hear from you. Just send us a little Christmas message, if you will. Write us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Holly, it's a holly jolly Christmas.
I have to wish everyone a happy holidays. That's my saying. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. And Merry Christmas, Isaac, to you too.
Thank you. Same to you.